hopefully in events going forward we'll be able to do a lot of it. Thank you very much. So we move on. Let's listen also to another section of Kenyans and friends of Kenya, not just Kenyans, but our many friends who will become part of the families. So I have first two ladies, and then I'll have two gentlemen. From there we'll watch and see what it is. Let's see how we go with this song. So Cynthia, the friends to talk about, so I want to see you guys if you don't feel very bad. Let's give if you would. As you do so. Then if you be ready as well, I think I'll be fair. Is Narima here? Narima is here. Quickly 2 minutes please, so that we move fast if you would. Yeah, ready? And then I'll go to the gentlemen, 2 minutes each. Move on.
Good afternoon. Oh, I think one of the Gen Z said you can do better than that. Good afternoon. It's a very tall honor to come after the Gen Z. I was just telling Pastor before I woke up, I was like, I don't think I want to go right after these guys. So please give them another round of applause. As has been introduced, I wear a lot of hats. I'm sure I know a lot of you here. My name is Lilia Luciano. And I think one of the hats, let me tell you the hats that I wear, and then I'll tell you where my remarks are coming from. So I'm a mother, a daughter, a sister, of course, that is what I'm absolutely proud of. One of my hats is I'm the president of the Association of Kenyans in America. So how many are familiar with IKEA? Yes, you are. I know Matiang'i is the largest organization, Kenyan organization here. Professor Dr. Matiang'i, welcome to Minnesota. Welcome. As has been said, there's a lot of us who are working in different sectors here in Minnesota and of course creating a lot of impact. So like I've said, and I'm sure you perhaps have been briefed, we do have a lot of Kenyan organizations here. We represent various areas geographically in the country. But some of us decided to come together and bring all these organizations together in what we call Minnesota Kenyans Association. So to speak with one voice and to look at areas that bring us together. So it is still a work in progress, but I'm proud to say that a lot of those leaders are here. Rosalita, Matiang'i, President is here, Onesimus is here. Representative Vilsi was a member of that, and I'm sure there's a lot of other leaders here. Dr. Karanja, Caucus is with us as well as other folks here. But today, the hat that I'm going to be wearing or talking about is where I work. Currently, I work at the Minnesota Department of Agriculture, that is a state agency. I work at the Commissioner's Office. And at the Commissioner's Office, I am the Director of the Emerging Farmers Office. This is a new office, and we believe that it's the first of its kind at state government level in the country. Yeah, you can clap. So Minnesota is leading the way in addressing equity in agriculture. So Dr. Matiang'i, what has been happening is Minnesota agriculture is really known for a lot of the commodity agriculture, corn, soybean, wheat, hogs, and so on. What we realized was we have farmers who would like to participate in Minnesota's ag economy, and these are small-scale farmers. And within these small-scale farmers, we have immigrants, we have people from other countries, new Americans, so to speak, right? Who want to also participate in Minnesota's ag economy. So what did the Department of Agriculture do? We decided to go around the states and talk to folks and ask, what are some of those gaps? What are some of the issues that are impacting you or not allowing you to participate in Minnesota's ag economy? And long story short, that is how my office came to be, and that is how I was hired into this role. So the foundation of what I do is relationship building, I now have 2 staff members. One concentrates on grants, and why is that? Because we found that access to capital is a big hindrance for a lot of farmers. And the reason why I'm saying these statements is because this is synonymous to what is happening back home. A lot of small farmers do not have access to capital. Okay? So that is just similar to what's happening here. That would be a great benefit to find ways to create these financial opportunities that will allow small-scale farmers to also participate competitively in Kenya's economy, but also the same way we're doing that here. One of the other things that I want to talk about or briefly mention, because I know my time is coming up, Kenya's agriculture contributes to about 33% of our GDP and employs about 70% of our rural population. However, this population will be increasing to about 81 million in 2036. At the same time, our agricultural lands are decreasing to what I choose to call concrete jungles. A lot of us here, if you own a plot, what do you think of first? You want to build something so that you can rent, so that whatever. Now, my plea to you, sir, is I think it would be important, like what we're trying to do here, to try and designate some lands that are strictly agricultural. That goes into zoning as well. Okay? And on top of that, I think it's important to promote agriculture beyond just having universities and agencies. We need to start teaching agriculture from a young age and letting our children know that it is a viable economic opportunity. Let's stop demonizing agriculture as the poor man's job. Who hasn't eaten here today? We all eat, correct? Right. So that is important for us to start teaching from a young age that there is a career in agriculture. But I think that goes in tandem with making sure that we have resources that support our people to get into agriculture. I can say more, but I want to be respectful of my friends time here and just say, for my office, I am happy to collaborate with you and with anyone else who is from back home. We have received a lot of guests from the Kenyan government. 2 weeks ago, we had folks from diaspora ministry together with my friend, Representative Hilsey, and we were discussing some matters that we could at least exchange ideas in terms of labor, agricultural labor. But there are so many other opportunities we can work on. So my plea is, sir, as we continue this journey, I choose to stay apolitical because of my role. But at the same time, of course, development knows no party. We want to make sure that agriculture is centered, agriculture is given the right funding and the amenable infrastructure development so that our people can participate in that economy and then grow. I am happy to be a resource if you so choose and you need to be a resource, because if we win, we all win. Producers win, consumers win, and the environment wins. Thank you very much.
So I think what I'll do here, thank you. Sometimes when you prepare remarks and then you have pressure to finish, that sometimes causes conflict. And especially when we have such great resources, such a kind of resources, I think once right there, we need this type of connection. So please understand that let's try to finish this. Summarize, please. But I should not want to be fair to the guy as well. Don't mess us,
Good evening, everybody. My name is Janet Kitui, CS Matiangi, and esteemed guests of the Kenyan diaspora. Welcome. As I have already mentioned, my name is Janet Kitui. I'm a mother, a grandmother, and a proud constituent of Kenya. I currently serve as Director of Procurement at Northern Community here in Minnesota. But today, I'm not speaking in my professional capacity. I speak as a concerned citizen with a deep love of our country, Kenya, and a growing sense of urgency. It is urgent because good governance is important. And the definition of good governance refers to the process and structures that guide political and economic decision-making, ensuring transparency, accountability, and inclusive participation for the benefit of all stakeholders. According to the World Bank, good governance is essential to creating an environment conducive to strong and equitable development. It is multifaceted concept that involves the effective management of public resources. And I'm going to pause there. Public resources need to be managed for the benefit of all. The protection of human rights and the elimination of abuse and corruption. Without it, sustainable development is impossible. I'm going to share a personal story as I reflect on this. Alright. Okay, I will summarize. We in the diaspora, we must demand better. Thank you.
And again, we want to make sure that all faces of Kenya are well represented here, so that we're not fighting. So this is me.
Good evening. CS Matiangi, you're welcome to Minnesota. I'll keep it very brief. My name is Melissa Satu-Wimene, and I'm very glad to be here. I'm here just to talk very briefly about investments and opportunities and how we can build business. We all know that the diaspora supports the country in the sending our remittances, and I just want to talk about two main things that I believe we can do to boost that. One of the things that we need is we need to streamline the infrastructure through which we can send remittances. And I think one of the areas of opportunities right now, we send remittances to support individuals, our family members. We need a way where we can build infrastructure bonds, and we can build bonds in the channels where we can build our own infrastructure instead of sending individual dollars, where we can build broad systems and have a way in which the diaspora can invest in our own infrastructure back home. That will help to build our economy. The second thing I really want to talk about is about capacity building. We have a lot of skills and knowledge, and we need to think about how diaspora-led initiatives can be harnessed and channeled to provide training and mentorship programs for our young engineers, scientists, and entrepreneurs in our country's back The very last thing I will say, and this is for Gen Zs, stop asking for permission. You need to step into your place. You are more than enough, and you have what it takes. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's have Professor Christy, the professor. Let's see how he summarizes this time.
So instead of basically the pictures, guys, I'm showing you 4 pictures that have something to do with us as diasporans, okay? Very, very quickly. So this is a map of where the growth of the diasporas are globally. 535,000 as of 2020 according to this database. This is where they live very quickly globally. The map I'm saying is about voting in a second. Just give me a second, okay? Moving very, very quickly. These are the countries where we have most Kenyans abroad. The only difference here, you don't see the graph region that has been growing very, very rapidly in recent days. I wanted to come here very quickly. This is where you are in the United States, okay? By state, and the blue dots are showing you cities, metropolitan areas. You can see Minneapolis up there, you know, the metropolitan area. And by states, you can see Minnesota here is second to Texas. Okay? Minnesota should give a copy. So that is how the numbers stack up. I told you that I'm moving on. By metropolitan areas, I wanted to show you this one. You may not be able to read it very quickly. Where is Minneapolis? Number one. Minneapolis metropolitan region. 13,000, followed by Dallas, followed by Seattle. And all the others as you see here, very quickly. This is metropolitan Minnesota alone, Minneapolis alone. We can go up to the track level, but we can even map a neighborhood. We know where you stay. Okay? Don't worry, nobody's coming for you, but we should contribute to the economy. But the reason I'm showing you this map is very quick. Any dark spot here, you should be in leadership. Any dark spot. Okay? So, places like close to Egg River, Brooklyn Park, you know what we have already done, Bloomington, you know, East St. Paul, anything where you see that brown, red, are places where we need to be in leadership. Let me talk about what we need. We need more consulates, and we need more voting centers. Okay? Notice that whatever is red is where we have an embassy or a consulate. Most Kenyans actually live here in the middle, Midwest. And we have no consulate, we have no what? Embassy. So I'm asking the Kenya government now, and the future Matiang'i administration, we need consulates at least in the first 8 cities. Yeah? Minneapolis, Dallas, Seattle, Atlanta, and on. Then of course, other countries have done the same thing that we are saying here. We don't want taxation without representation. Matiang'i, you've seen that in Washington DC, you know that number plate. We need electoral inclusion, of course in parliament. We need ways of sending money, and skills is what I'm emphasizing. Promoting Kenyan products globally, and making sure that if we are empowered and we have more channels, the diaspora can do miracles for the country. Thank you.
Sorry, I do understand that we are under pressure to finish the program to the stage and talk, but please don't make the voices of Kenya that we listen to. And this is our parcel to finish, and we can probably hand over to the other side. Please.
Thank you. I'm not going to give a speech. I'm just going to mention 2 points. First point, welcome to Minnesota. This is the population that delivered the very first Kenyan-born Minnesota State representative, our sister, Bola Tracy. And if you leverage on us, we can be able to work with you to make it happen. Number 2, the Kenya we serve is a Kenya that will not treat us as a culture. It's a Kenya that will give us an opportunity to participate in economic development. A Kenya that gives services to our people. Healthcare to our parents, education to our cousins and our nephews and nieces, and an opportunity for our brothers to make a decent living. Because whatever happens in Kenya impacts us directly. Thank you.
This is my message.
Thank you. Onesmus Mutio, coming from Eastern Kenya, a member of Minnesota Kenyan Association.
Thank you. Again, apologies. We are trying to make sure that everybody has a chance to talk, but at the same time, we understand the cabinet since yesterday, we have been from 6 in the morning all through. Please. There are no good prepared speeches here. Please. Just understand, let's get the minister away for now. Let's pause those speeches so that we can also have a chance to hear from you. But before we do that, I think it's in order for us to respect what we've done here. We are the first one, not just in particularly in Minnesota, where we've been able to elect one of them representative Ruda Matiang'i. And I said this as she comes to the stage for a quick word. She knows the story goes way beyond. This is a pure we must I would tell her, listen, she needs to listen what I told her in private. We need this job. And she knows what I call her now, but we need have a second term, we need her in the Senate, we need her in Congress, because that's the only way. And with that,
thank you so much. I want to respect time because we all came here to hear who? 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 Exactly. You didn't come here to hear me. You can find me at the captain, you can find me in Broken Park. With that said, I want to quickly acknowledge my colleague, Representative Bernie. Please stand up and wave. And very quickly, I have a speech that I'm not going to say because I want to bring up Dr. Fred Matiangi so you can listen to him. To the committee, thank you so much. To my Gen Zs, my security protocol team, please wave. These are the guys who make sure that we are safe. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Let me tell you one thing. It is important that we understand the magnitude of what we have as a community, as a Kenyan community. Like Dr. Tiso said, Professor Tiso, we have numbers, but if those numbers can produce results, they're just numbers. So as you are passionate about Kenya, also be passionate about here. Good governance requires participation of these people. And that means you have to take part in it, yes. It's your role to take part in it and participate in your democracy. With that said, thank you, Minnesota. This has been an amazing, amazing weekend. Thank you for everybody who gave and will continue to give. And thank you especially to His Excellency. I know he doesn't like titles, but we are so proud to have you here in the state of Minnesota. Dr. Fred Matiang'i. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Now, on behalf of everybody here, the teacher has been working on behalf of everyone of us in the city of Minnesota, Dr. Kenny Raja to come and to invite Dr. Kenny.
Thank you. Minnesota, oye! I know, I am the one standing between you and Dr. Matiang'i, so I'm going to make this very brief for you running out of town. So thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much, Dr. Matiang'i, for being here. As you all know, Dr. Matiang'i has been an exceptional public servant in the Republic of Kenya, the former administration, and a man instrumental in bringing significant reform to the country. The Gen Zs here who are streaming live, this is the man who brought ICT and digital transformation and built a modern system. And he was tasked with that opportunity to bring that change. He is the man, if you listened yesterday, who was able to reform an education system that was bereft with cheating and negative outcomes, and he changed that ministry to one that produces graduates who in this country have provided the largest number of educated immigrants. Professor Kisis Rock and others. He is the man who did that. He is the man when we chat with securing our country, he spared no expense in making sure that we are safe. He is the man who is here, seeking to hear from us, and he has said he came to listen, and he has listened. Now, having said that, we want to welcome, with all understanding, and give a loud cheer and welcome Dr. Fred Matiang'i. Thank you. mheshimiwa wacha tusalamie.
Minnesota oye! Minnesota Minnesota! We are indeed very happy to be here today. Your Excellency, these are wonderful people. Minnesota has shown the rest of the United States that they can indeed come together and give you a resounding endorsement as you go to run for this seat. These are wonderful ambassadors of our culture in our country, and they are also representatives who demonstrate to the rest of the country our resilience, our enterprising culture, and everything good about Kenya. We are very, very proud of you. Keep on doing what you do. And as Dr. Fred Matiang'i goes to run for this office, you need to know that this is your candidate. Sivyo? Wangapi wanasema tuna support Fred Matiang'i? And how many of us are going to donate to Dr. Fred Matiang'i? That is important, and talk to your family and friends. Let us all rally behind Mr. Fix-It so that he can fix health, so that he can fix education, so that he can fix security, and so that he can fix Kasongo mwenyewe. Hivyo, asanteni sana na Mwenyezi Mungu awabariki.
My humble duty to invite the CS to speak to us. Umeuliza maswali mengi. Watu wanauliza huyu Fred Matiang'i ni nani? Tunamsoma tu. I think he'll get a chance to tell us who he is. Kama nilitembea na mguu kama wengine, kienda shule. Our young people have spoken. They are looking for some hopeful message. Sio? Yes. Alafu mwenzetu tena wanamwambia. Leo hii kabla tupige kura tutawasaidia namna gani? There are so many experts here, people of goodwill. Tunataka pia tuone tunasaidia nchi yetu namna gani, ama sio? Alafu tukikupatia hii kiti mheshimiwa, lakini unatosha. Sisi hatuuliza kama unatosha.
I am going to have planned to get used to standing for you or holding you other things. I have been here for the last 2 days. I had about 6 meetings, and I've had a very good time in here. Good evening. Habari zenu? How are you? The energy and the excitement that I feel in the room is very dangerous. I told you last week that an old man friend of mine advised me that very careful when you face an audience that is very excited, and don't be carried away. Be careful about the things you say when you are very excited. I'm going to be very excited, but I'm not going to be very sorry. But let me start by saying this. My dear brothers and sisters, all of you wonderful people who have come here, left your work, left your schedules to be here listening. I want you to know, sincerely from the bottom of my heart, I'm very deeply humbled and I'm very grateful. Thank you. Our religious leaders who are here, Imam Sadiq, Pastor Sephora, Pastor Okioma, and all of you members of the collective who are here, including those who pray for us, I want to thank you very sincerely for your time. And all of you leaders from across this country, especially the leaders of the various organizing committees, I thank you very sincerely from the bottom of my heart. The people of Minnesota, let me say this. First of all, Mr. John Mapoli, you asked me to evaluate you. I give you a straight Matiangi. So thank you so much. I mean, we've done a spectacular job putting all of us here, and the way we organized is true. Yes, I've been in meetings for the last 24 hours, but I don't feel it because of the energy, the love, the community. So I want to thank you, all of you leaders from Minnesota who are here, for the wonderful work you have done. This place is very interesting. I said last night also who were there, and then the pastor, I keep, I met a lot of my friends here, both boys and girls. My boyfriends and my girlfriends, as I said last night, pastor, don't take me to the church board. They are girls who are my friends, not English has a problem. Because this was Swahili, or if this was mother tongue, I would be able to tell the distinction. But you know, with this Swahili, I will tell you about my babies, and those are. But now English is weak, so you need to. So the girls who are your friends are your girlfriends, so they were your girlfriends, the classmates. But I mean it, and you know that answer, you know that other way you think. So, as I say, after this meeting, this is the last event I have. I am going back home. I have no intentions of going to sleep in the doghouse or even in the city. And my wife decides that I need to tell you exactly what I meant by that. Pastor, if I went there, my conversation with you. Anyway, thank you so much, wonderful people. Thank you for being here. And I want to take very few minutes. First of all, I love this meeting and I love the gatherings we have had here because we have met experience. My brothers who have traveled across the country, I'm very, very grateful. I introduced Maura and Tiawa last night, and you know, number of people who come out. What he does in trying to put this together and ensuring that we begin a conversation. My friend, Dr. Nyango, Omar, and Tiawa from California, and many people who have long stories. And our lives have interacted in various ways. So, I'll be beginning and I'll start with a very simple story. 2 years ago, 3 years now, when we left the government, after the elections of 2022, I took up an assignment in the Wababa, here in Washington, D.C. The nature of my assignment was that I could not be allowed in the town of service to come down on meetings like this. I kept quiet, looked out for some of my friends and my former classmates like Professor Satiso. So when we see me speaking here as a professor, that's how we were taught, that's how smart our class was. Then, slowly, we had this conversation about our country and so on and so forth. By last year, 2024, when demonstrations began at the and the agencies demonstrating, people asking questions. And quite frankly, I began to get these pressure questions from people. Why don't you go to public life? Why don't you come back and contribute? It became very serious. Sometimes, because I have gone home every time I had leave, because I didn't have a problem, I didn't run away from my country. I never hide, beg or shy from responsibility. I'm ready to answer questions anyone may have for my life. So, you know, I met people and some of them participated very seriously, walk up to you sometimes, social places, restaurants, ordinary people. I experienced where I went to Western one time to have coffee with a friend of mine, I couldn't even sit down and have coffee. Because everybody waiters would come there, he asked me, serious, one of the questions I don't know. It's not doing this. Until it now began to look like I'm committing a crime if I am not going to participate in what is going on. So when some of the very leaders in our country, some of whom I respect a lot, say that they know a lot of wonderful people related to this, that when people like Pastor Spora here, or Imam Sadiq, tell you they want to see you, they usually don't see people just like that. They usually are crying a very heavy message, because they are not ordinary people. You know who they speak for sometimes. So then they tell you, let us have a meeting, and on top of them, they ask me now about CS. You know, you disappointed us in 2022, you thought you were going to be a ballot, didn't go. So now, you guys watch the elections as the country goes out. So, here's my first answer, Dr. Bogo, to your questions. I am pleased and I decided, after speaking to a lot of people and listening to some of you and others, that let me go and make my contribution to my country and take my experience and the years of service that I've had, the knowledge I have of government, and put my colleagues together, work together with them to try and fix some of the challenges we have in the country. So, as I stand here tonight, I bring you greetings from my colleagues whom I'm working with. The Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, who is in Texas right now. Send his regards to you. The Honorable Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka. Honorable Mother Karua, who was here a while ago. And my brother, my friend, and my colleague cabinet, the Honorable Gigi Mama. We've been having conversations among ourselves, and then many other people, So, how do we move forward from here, and what will we do for our country? And when you ask me, who am I, where I come from, there are people in this room, I have seen people here, yes, I take them in Minnesota. I grew up with people I went to school with. I grew up in the village, walking to school, 5 kilometers in the morning, 5 kilometers for lunch, 5 kilometers back to school after lunch, and 5 kilometers back home in the evening. So that was like 20 kilometers a day. Because that is true, Prof. If you have seen the distance from my home to my primary school, it was like 5 kilometers. And then I was there in the primary school with my brother. Said last night I'm one of those people that has to go together in order to prove that I went to school. Because I'm not like some people in Kenya who claim, because when I was missing some education, I used to tell people, the easiest way to the social academy is to give me this rubbish about people who have got to look for 4 daughters to prove that they went to school. Because if you went to school, how did you go to a school where you don't have a classmate, you don't have a teacher? If you are depending on a judge to make a ruling that you actually went to school, you know, my friends, I want to tell you this. There is a way in which we have destroyed our country by this silly behavior, doing things that normal people don't do. Because you see, going to school is a black and white situation. Either way or you don't go. And I used to tell people, I am not the one who wrote the law. I believe that you can be a good leader, maybe you actually do not have a degree, but you wrote the law in Parliament and say for you to be governor, you actually need a degree. So So respect the law. As it were, follow the law. Because that is honest, it's a subject I will go to another day. But I can tell you this. We've had people who have actually served as governors in Kenya who did not go to university. They bought papers, they carried papers, they went to court, got some order, bribed some electoral institution, and approved them. I was the Minister for Education when the Commission for University Education one time. A candidate presented a certificate, and please, I'm not the Minister said that I'm not doing that. This guy had attended a conference of religious leaders somewhere in South America, and they gave him a certificate of participation in Spanish or Latin. Then they took it to IDCC. Then they cleared the certificate and the master. When later on they found a translator, they said no, it says certificate of participation. It's not you know, that's why I'm telling you, one candidate for position of governor presented a PhD certificate that she couldn't even defend when someone asked her, what was the thesis on? She said, what is the thesis? How would you have, I know we are innovators in Kenya, but some innovation is a joke. So, my brothers and sisters, Dr. Bobo, that's the story of my life. Grew up with all these wonderful musicians and professors. Going to my primary school, and sometimes I tell them the challenge in agencies like I actually draw from Mars or from Jupiter. And I have lived this life, simple, what to see, what to get, straightforward, raised by parents who are, materially, who are very rich in spirit, love for us, and commitment. The other day, I was telling some lawyers here in a room that, and it is the last thing I will say on that particular call, that one day I will tell the whole story in full length in my book when it comes out that I will never have gone to school or I will never finish school without my mother. My mother is the most patient person on earth. Because this is interesting. Every day between I think standard 1 and standard 3, every single day I went to school, I lost my pencil. I frankly don't know how it got lost, but I lost it. Kevin is saying you can testify to that. I went in climbing trees, eating guavas in Mosoti's compound, and so on. Somehow I don't mean to some miserable people who don't manage properly, just get lost. I don't know what to do about it. And my mother worked hard. I don't know anybody this one was more patient. She would go to the market and sell milk, sell her wares. And then the time they come home, she would go to the market twice a month. Once a fortnight, she would be at the market. Then she buys a set of pencils. Then she comes and has each one of them to read. Because she knows that I am actually going to lose that. And every single morning, I don't know any of the confessions on that. Every single morning, she would sharpen one for me to go with school. She tried all gymnastics to help me keep the pencils, including creating a hole here. Cut my shirt and created a hole and told me, this is very careful. When we are finished writing, put it back in there. When we climb the tree, you will not get lost. You will be there. But I still lost it. I don't know what to do. But there's no day I went to school without a pencil. She even made some string, made some marks around it, and tied the string. And tied around my neck and said, it will not get lost now. They need to run to the there. So come back with it in the beginning. There's no direct back home with the text. And so that is how we grew up. I think the problem was, Kefa, if you remember, is the Wawas in Mosoti's compound that were a problem. Because we go to climb and then break time and so on, and then that will get those and so on. But you know, stop giving me a message every day. So, that's why when we discuss these things about the leadership of our country, about the future of our country, that we're moving forward, we need it. I mean, it's from here. And now, I will dedicate the next 3 minutes of my speech to the city and staff, away from my daughters and parents. Good people. About a year and a half ago, when I was about a few weeks old at the bank, I met a group of young economists, Kenyan young economists at the bank. Just found that into me as we were having tea. And then the way we get excited when we were back meeting now, really, the one that says, yeah, I'm not there, it's me. You know, it's no mind giving us something, it's no like to get your story about what's happening, what's doing. I said, no problem. We want us to meet, we are going to meet some day, we are going to go to the week. And we'll tell them about all our hours. Then they asked me, after all the stories say that, what are the 2 things you would like us to learn and then as to work here at the bank? I told them, always part of the country, fighting for the country. We may have our challenges, have a problem. We have disagreements sometimes because of politics. But our country is our collective form of responsibility. Love your country. Don't knock your country down. Because we must love our country. We don't come very far away from home to these places to talk about our country down. Second, I told them the best thing you can do in your life, and I believe it. The best thing you can do in your life is touch someone. Go to your village, wherever you come from, wherever it is. If there's an orphan child there, we will not have opportunities. Save someone who will allow you to whatever, and then also your stay here, back the way, and all that, and feed it for someone, and affect the life of someone. And they should not be people related to you by love or whatever. They should be people know from the village or somewhere there. Contribute to shaping the destiny of another life. That's why we are here. So, that then, Dr. Tabongo means what I see basically as my mission and philosophy. We are here for service. None of us is going to live forever. We will not live eternally. Those days of people like Sarah, we are going to get here for short time. While we are here, let us address service and serve the women. The greatest opportunity we have is to serve our country. And there's nothing more noble than to be asked to serve our country. I have the privilege of serving my country in the position of cabinet minister. And every day, for the 10 years I served, every single day, I thank the Lord for the opportunity He gave me to come into contact with so many Kenyans. And as I told another people last night, every day is a very humbling experience, and every day drives you to an emotional point where you find meaning in human life by touching the life of another person. Whether it is, high school students. I've narrated stories about how I went to schools, and sometimes a student will tear through the security and almost grab me. Like an experience that happened one time in a school in Nyanza, and tell me, we're going to be sent home. The administrator said we're waiting for the parents' day. I have fees arrears for the last 1 year. My mother died, my grandmother who has been supporting me also died last holiday. And I tell the headmistress, I will pay fees for this kid. Let her stay. I used to tell my cabinet colleagues, if they asked me to assist them together from one place for someone, I told them only one condition, that you pay fees for 2 people in that school. Then I will assist you. it's about service. I believe in service, delivering service to people. And that journey of life that I had in the public service was fulfilling and very exciting. And so, this is why I am having a listening conversation. So I answered your call, and the call of those many people who were asking me, sasa mbona tunazama? One religious leader I respect waited for me at the door of a hardware in Karen. I had bought some nails, I was going to fetch something, I was on leave. I found this bishop waiting for me there at the door. And he said, you know, CS, I was waiting for you. Oh, I said, Bishop, I didn't know you are here. Oh, I said, I'm here. I wanted to talk to you. Number one, you disappointed us in 2022. Why? We thought you were already on the ballot. I said, no, but we are two candidates. He said, now, okay, I want to tell you this, and it's a feeling of a lot of people I talked to. Would you consider running for public office? I said, you are a man of God, why don't we all pray about it? And then figure out what will happen. Because, you know, I can't give you an answer directly. I need also to consult and talk to other people. And I've been talking to people about this. I'm also responding to this call and responding to this advice and support so that I make a contribution in my life, in the service and in the development of my country. So, wonderful people, when the time comes, at the right time, when we move close, I ask you for your vote. But I don't stop there. I ask you to also hold me to account. If you are drawn enough to give me your vote, also hold me to account. Ask me questions. I like what the agencies who are here were speaking. Means wonderful, clever kids. A country that is endowed like that, should we be killing these kids instead of listening to them, Jamal? Yeah. With this kind of rain, you saw here, brilliant. And this is what you see everywhere you go in the country. Very smart people, determined to contribute to their country, very patriotic. So we are at a very interesting time. You can see what is going on in the country. I don't want to describe our problems. I believe as leaders, we should not spend time describing our problems. We should be spending more time looking for solutions on how we fix our problems. I believe that in the case of the diaspora in our country, we cannot only love your money without your voice. We must now have your voice. We must have your voice in the management of the affairs of the country. I have promised and I have undertaken, and you can hold me to account, that when I'm done with my consultations and I've identified the party I'm going to run on, I have promised that I will present people from the diaspora on the list of nominations from my party to the so that your voice can be heard. And not just for National Assembly or Senate for that matter, but for county positions. The city of Nairobi, the city council, all of you are buying apartments and properties in Nairobi. You need to participate. But again, secondly, some of you people, some of your leaders, we are working together on this petition to IBC to increase polling stations in the US to up to 15 or 20, so that you guys can vote. Because honestly speaking, let me ask you a question. Sometimes we also have to be serious. I think that is what frustrates me about public life in our country. We have to be serious. How do you expect someone to fly from Houston to go and vote in Washington? Honestly, does it make sense? Let's be serious. And what is it? In fact, when I was talking to the Deputy Chief of Mission, because I took it seriously enough, that I ran out with the Deputy Chief of Mission here and I told him, my friend, we have to work together with fellow Kenyans. This is not rocket science, it's straightforward business. And these leaders, as we were discussing the other day in DMV, are willing to also negotiate with institutions, including the schools in the various areas that will serve as polling stations, so that the cost of IBC will be lower. So all they need is an officer and a ballot box and the ballot papers. so that these people can participate in the choice of leaders in our country. We cannot come here and tell you how we love your remittances, but we don't care for your voice. We want to hear your voice. 3, as diaspora, please work hard to ensure that your voice makes a difference, and it's hard. You are the ones who know the senators, the representatives. You are the ones who know the governors here. Some of you are working with these people. You know, we have a security compact with the US government between Kenya and the US. It is you guys, some of you now need to challenge the leaders, even here in Congress, to ask questions. Is your security assistance to Kenya being used against the lives of the people of Kenya? So that these matters are brought to the fore. Ask these questions. You are in a country where accountability is the way of public leadership. Please use that to help us. 4.3, I love what was said here by one of our speakers this evening. Let us now systematize a mentorship and training program for Kenyans who are at home by the brain trust we have in the diaspora. A lot of wonderful work is going on. The other day I met a gentleman in school Maura, also in Baltimore, who has a program of bringing Kenyan teachers to the US and having them train here. And some of them, of course, have gotten jobs here and have been able to stay, but they have created very strong partnerships. We are the foremost ambassadors of our country, and we are the foremost promoters of business with our country. I want to ask you, my brothers and sisters, let us now systematize how we get this institutional capability that we have by the numbers we have in the US to go back to our country so that we mentor, train, and help grow the talent that we have in our country. And there's much more we can do when we continue having this conversation and continue talking. In the next 8 months or 10 months, I'm going to spend time now at home having conversations, listening to Kenyans like I've listened to all of you since last night, and I've listened to Kenyans in Texas, I've listened to Kenyans in DMV, on what you would like us to do together. I am inviting you all to be part of all of us who are forming a community of believers in transforming our country, so that we work together to transform our country. The challenges we face, a good number of them are man-made. There is nothing wrong with our country, but there is something wrong with some of the management we have in our country and some of the decisions that we take in our country. I gave this example yesterday. How is it? And it's very clear that all of you guys know this. When President Kibaki was sworn into office, he introduced free primary education. 1 million kids walk to school. 1 million. In fact, you have seen the clip doing rounds where President Clinton says that if there is one person he wished to meet that time, it was President Kibaki. That a new president of Kenya who introduced free education and 1 million kids walk to school. By the time President Kenyatta came into office, Kibaki's children were now ready to go into secondary school. That's why President Kenyatta spent time on 100% transition. The late Professor Magwa and I, a number of us, spent time in villages, building classrooms, fighting female genital mutilation, and ensuring that girls go to school. Everywhere where we have challenges like in Kilifi because of teenage pregnancies, I banned disco matanga because that nonsense where people go when someone has died, they go at night to dance. And then they say, oh, we must replace the one who's in the coffin tonight. It was silly things like those, which eventually affect our children. And we worked hard through the provincial administration. I remember, for example, George Natembea, the current governor of Trans Nzoia, a good friend of mine. Yes, he of the Tawe movement. Was first the county commissioner in Narok, and then later regional commissioner in Rift Valley. We were terrorizing chiefs and assistant chiefs, telling a chief, if there's a girl who's going to be found in your jurisdiction who has not gone to school, you will pay for it. And drove these kids to school. Now, how is it that when we are supposed to be going forward, we want to go backwards. They reduced capitation from 22,000 to about 16 or so. It's not even going to schools. And every day is excuses upon excuses, you know. In fact, I could be forgiven if I describe what we have in our country as government by excuses. You know, it started with no, it is Uhuru and the Islam. Then no, it's Raila and Azimio and I don't know who. Then now all the Wakikuyu and Alakwaribu Serikali. As I said the other day, next day it's going to be Nwakisi, Nawakabo and Alakwaribu Serikali. You know, so looking for someone to blame for things that we are supposed to be doing. Good people. We have challenges in our country. Some of them are man-made. Let us work on solving them. I am ready to lead the team to fix this problem. It's true. Because this is not your physics. This is not rocket science. These are straightforward matters where we need honesty and trust to make the decisions. As I move towards the end of my remarks this evening, I want to remind you this. In 2022, hold on a minute. In 2022, we told a lot of people, I addressed meetings where people asked me these questions and I told them, like I'm going to tell you today, because I have nothing to hide and you are my brothers and sisters. We either, A, stand up, be focused, and deal with the challenges in our country, or we will soon have no country. It's as simple as that. This pretense that we have had over the years, you know, where we are told lies, you know, Musumuko, Ujeuli, Uongo, and now season 2 of that is about to begin. Where, you know, people are flying around the country with helicopters every Friday, you know, in the form of empowerment. 9 helicopters this way, 9 helicopters that way, dramatizing things. Then they end up in a village, they give those poor people 64 shillings. That's not even $1. Even if you give your mother $1, what would she do with it? Let's be serious. I mean, these jokes, our country is better than that. So that is why we are here. And I promise that working together, all of us, we will fix these challenges, bring about integrity to the management of public affairs, and also create trust. Kenyans are looking for a government they can trust. That a government that will tell you something you can take to the bank. Not a government that you are not sure what they tell you is going to work or not. Finally, some of our public servants, and a good number of you have been in the public service before. We have some of the most hard-working public service, very professional, highly competent. I know it. I have worked with the public service before. I've given this example. For the entire time I was in cabinet, I worked with about 13 or so PSS. I mean, top-notch, smart people. Some of them Harvard, you know, were McKinsey consultants and so on. Smart people. They don't need a benevolent guy from heaven, you know, to come and give them lectures every day and dictate them on what they're supposed to be doing. They just need to be respected, be given an opportunity to move forward. And also merit, so that people are promoted because they are qualified to do the job they are doing. Not parachuting people left, right, and center because of the ethnic communities they come from. You know, collecting some political stillborns and assigning them responsibility to boss around public servants. And they spend time insulting public servants every day. We are the consultants, we are the advisors. And we have reinvented the way in which public service is supposed to be run. Yet, actually, public service is what holds our country together, as it were. So, my friends, when you look at the payslips of the public service because of a taxation and so on, even self-esteem is lost. Morale is gone. How will they deliver? We will fix this and return the morale of the public servants. We will respect public service and public servants and listen to them when they advise us on what we need to do. So, lastly, you've heard all these stories that you will hear from politicians. You know, when a country is going through challenges such as we are going, Some of them, crazily man-made, as I said, were importing rice, where farmers have got rice in the stores. You will wake up tomorrow morning, these same fellows will go to Western Kenya or someplace there and they will expect people to be singing and dancing for them. Cane farmers who have not been paid for decades, they are importing sugar. The factories are closed. Let's be honest about our country. Let us be very serious about the affairs of our country. And that is why my colleagues and I are engaged in this constant conversation. And I know that maybe before the end of the year or early next year, another one of my colleagues will come here and meet with you and continue this conversation. We want you to join us in the program and the journey of remaking our country. And don't be discouraged. I know things can go wrong. I know how it feels when you watch those pictures on TV of thugs walking side by side with uniformed police officers. You know? People shooting at members of parliament in broad daylight, and there's no crime they have committed. They are just going to a church and going to a rally. Can you imagine if the US behaved like that? We probably would not have been sitting here. As soon as the MC started, policemen walk in. They just start chasing us around. And there's nothing we have done. We have just met and danced. And I don't know why anyone should be unhappy about that dance. Now, those are the kind of things that we are dealing with. But do not lose faith. And people constantly dividing us. This is why I have refused personally, and we all reject, and I want to invite you to reject with me, and all of us well-meaning people, the idea of dividing us into tribes, into communities, and so on. We are not a congregation of tribes in Kenya. We are a nation called Kenya. And the challenges we have do not know tribe, they do not know region. People have challenges in Siaya, in Kisumu, in Kericho, and all over the place. So when people are raising these issues, they're not raising them because of their ethnic background. They're raising genuine, serious issues that we need to work on. I promise you that I am ready to make my contribution. I am ready to lead a team that will work on making our country and fixing our challenges. And I promise you, I'll keep my word. Hold me to account. Ask questions. And if I am the one who's so blessed and so privileged to cross that bridge and be the one to be in that office, listening to these wonderful young people who spoke here, asking questions about what we are going to do to resolve some of those challenges like mental health. Half of the reasons why we have mental health problems in our country is because of the ecosystem and the environment in which we live. If you graduated 6 years ago, you have no job, your brother has no job, your sister has no job, your mom has no job, your father is earning miserable salary, paying SHA, paying housing, a house you'll never go into. How will you remain sane? How will you remain sane? That's why we have these challenges. The anguish, our young people are going into these issues because of the challenges we have in the country. So the first solution to this problem is to fix the problems of the country. So that our young people, we can get investment into our country, we can get private sector involved in our investment and creating employment for our young. Then we will deal with these challenges. Then their self-esteem will come back, their dignity will come back. And that is what I pledge to do and I would like to do. So that we build trust in a transparent government. Finally, I ask you to keep the faith. Do not be discouraged by these momentary challenges. By God's grace, we will cross that bridge together. And when we do, we will fix the challenges of our country. Have hope that the better days of our country are ahead. And I am asking that we all join together as we walk on that journey to a better future as a country where we will be united, live together, be transparent, build trust in our country again. My item number one, if I got that opportunity, will be beginning on a program of healing the nation. Because our country is suffering from divisions and all this pain. But I believe it. I believe it in my heart. We will get there and we will solve these challenges together, and we will fix our challenges as a country. There is nothing we cannot do with the capacity that we have. There is nothing that Kenya cannot achieve when we are committed as we are all the time. So by the grace of God, let's keep the faith, stay on course, and I count on you for prayers, for support, and also for counsel and advice, and for holding me to account as we lead that trip forward. May God bless you.
Former Matiangi, former Matiangi, former nani, former nani, Isho, former nani, Edili, former nani, Tata, former nani, Ogogo, former nani, Asli, former nani, Ayawa, former nani. Amen. Housekeeping staff.
Minnesota, I want to say a big word of thanks to the guest, Company Secretary General, for coming in. Thank you, the delegates who came all the way from Kenya, those who came from across the country. Thank you so much. Of course, we can thank all for the committee for the hard work we did, the dancers here, and because of the pressure of time and schedule, the CS is going to get out. So I ask the pastor, Esther, you could please come and say the last prayer. So please.